myself busy. I ran around in circles, think I made myself dizzy.
All right, what's up, lovers and friends? It's the boy Trigger Troy, aka the Love Guru, and this is Love Journal, my journey into healing, relearning, and redefining love for myself. Um, Today, I'm doing something that I haven't done on the show before. Um, I'm doing a solo episode. I've done something similar, with the reverse interviews, but I've never done an episode where it was just me. So, with that in mind, I first off just want to acknowledge. I know I've been kind of up and down, in and out, kind of all year. Like some of season two and this season, I've been like sporadic versus weekly, like I was with the first season. And I just want to thank all my supporters for still rocking with me. Um, the love for the show is still growing, and I definitely still need it. I definitely look at it as something that I love to do. So, Love Journal won't be going anywhere anytime soon. Um, but I just want to acknowledge, I haven't been on it like I should be. So for y'all to still, be following it, still like waiting for new episodes and stuff like that, I appreciate it truly. Um, so today I wanted to do, like I said, a solo episode, and the reason for that is because of the topic. It's something that I could talk to with other people, but I honestly don't think too many people will be willing to have these conversations, right? Um, 'Cause I think it goes pretty deep. I don't know, maybe, but point is, I'm doing it by myself. um, so yeah, before I do anything, I do want to first off pick love song of the week. So the song that I picked is "Share My World" by Mary J. Blige. Um, I love it because I mean, first off, '90s, the vibe of it and everything. But even outside of that, it's just y'all know I go up for lyrical content and just the whole point of the song, is like share my world. It's right fucking there, share my world. Don't leave. I'll show you, all these beautiful things. Granted, my life isn't perfect, but I can show you beauty. So it's like, oh, I think that's pretty fucking human and real. So the next thing I want to do before I start, actually, really quick, if you guys have any love songs you just want to just suggest to me, feel free. Um, you can message me on the I pretty much anywhere on socials. Just y'all got it. Trigger Troy D or Troy D Ryan. The next thing I want to do is my song bowl. I know I've been trying to do that and keep that consistent at the beginning of every episode before I start the interviews and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Namaste. All right. It always just gets my energy right together. um, okay, so yeah, today, like I said, solo, and the topic that I came across, I got from Pinterest. It's just essentially like a list of questions that are related to shadow work, and just really, shadow work. Just for anyone who doesn't fully get the idea of it, it's just about inner healing, acknowledging the things in ourselves that we probably don't acknowledge. You know, um, acknowledging the lies we tell ourselves to survive so that we can kind of stop. It's just really a deeper look. And then not just at the good parts. Um, okay, so the first question is, oof, Jesus, when did I lose my innocence as a child? And what shattered my heart, and how have I treated myself since then? When did I lose my innocence? Starting heavy. Okay, I think honestly, it came from my parents. Um, they, I grew up in a domestic house, domestic violence house, and it wasn't. I don't know. It's hard because there were times where it was very frequent. There was other times it just seemed like it was something that wouldn't even happen again. But it was definitely very present up until I was probably in college, honestly. Um, and they obviously, fought, and I think seeing the intensity of that as a kid, how real that was, um, that definitely chipped away at something. It was like, okay, no, the world is real and shit gets real and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. And I started to I got very self-aware very early on. And not just about myself, but other people. And I think that kind of had a hand in it, both experiencing these things, seeing these things, and then also becoming so aware. It was just like, okay, well, I can't really be a kid no more. This shit is real. Um, and I think what kind of shattered my heart was that, and I hate having these conversations sometimes. They're very difficult because, or at least related to domestic violence and abuse and stuff, because my father isn't a bad person. I love my father. And it wasn't always, you know, him. Sometimes, unfortunately, things escalated because of her. But what shattered my heart was that my mom stayed. It was that there was these moments, things would get fucking Lifetime movie level, and here we are next day, like nothing even happened. And it was like, oh, okay, okay, I guess we're good to just keep moving. So with that in mind, I think the way that what it caused me to do to myself was never get too attached to good times. It made me start to anticipate when shit would go wrong, because it's like I know one of these days, I know it, here it comes, and that it definitely did a number on me. That affected me a lot. I'm still affected, quite affected. um, okay. The next one is, am I okay with the fact that not everyone will like me? Why or why not? And how does this make me feel? At this point in my life, I can give a shit less. I've had those days where I cared, but I just don't give a fuck. I don't have time. And I think I've reached a point in my journey where I recognize everybody sees and responds and interacts with you based on their own experience. So if somebody don't like me, it's something that they don't like about themselves, or they got some shit going on, they ain't nothing to do with me. It's not my business. Um, and it makes me feel good to not I whether you like if I know how to take compliments and I know how to receive admiration and things like that. So, if you fuck with me, I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you don't, that's fine, not my business. Go about your day. You know? So yeah, that was pretty it went from heavy to simple. All right, let's see what this next one is. Um what am I most afraid of? Why and how can I overcome this? I want this because it's life. We have multiple fears, but I want the one that I say to be related to me or about me, if that makes sense. And one of my biggest fears is my dreams not coming true. Um, um, yeah, I mean, I've been a multi-skilled artist my entire life. If it's art related, I love it, and I learned early on that it was like, okay, something in this is meant for me to do on a deeper level of also finding something that I could be paid for. And so when I say that, like, I just mean making a living. I mean, it'd be great to be a billionaire. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest. I want $1 million fucking dollars. I want millions, but I want it to come from my ambition and my work ethic, my art, my creativity, my entrepreneurship, like all these things. I want them to be the reason, and sometimes it's scary when you like, yeah, I've seen some fruits of my labor, but I'm nowhere near where I've always wanted to be. And sometimes I let myself get a little scared, like shit. Um, what if I'm 50 and I'm like, still I don't know, just like not like I don't know. It's hard to I think other specifically creatives, but anybody that has a dream can relate to what I mean when you haven't gotten it yet. I'm definitely gonna keep moving. I love like I can't help but create. So it's not like something that I'm just forcing myself to do. I literally can't help but write, can't help but sing, can't help but do graphics and photography because I just that's who I am. But if it didn't pan out, like I think I would lose my mind and I will probably like resent life. um and I think just the way, or at least so far, what I do, how to overcome it is just I just pay attention to my life. I think our life is always talking to us, and it's up to us to stop and pay attention. And it's always like these dots just being connected. And my life has always felt like it was building to that place that I've always wanted to be. And I feel like, especially now, that I'm the closest, if not there. Like, it's not what I want it to be, but there's something I can't explain it, but that's like my huge fear. The next one, what are some things that easily trigger me and why do they trigger me? Ooh. Okay, okay. I think one of them is closed-minded people, or just closed-mindedness in general, because I am so open-minded. And I'll say specifically what sparked that thought is spirituality, right? You can believe in whatever you want to believe in. I feel like whether religious, spiritual, whatever the case is. I can't tell you what to follow, but I think sometimes you come across people who just don't seem to believe in anything, and that's so bothersome because I've had this journey. I've seen these things. I have, at least from my perspective, I have proof of this thing of this spiritual thing that I believe in. So it's like, and again, I wouldn't push it on you. I would go over, why I believe or whatever the case is. And I would love to hear that from you. But when you mention that to people, like I've had conversations with some people who rolled their eyes or looked to the side, just like, okay, motherfucker. Like, it makes me want me. I then want you to tell me your life story so I can start showing you the connected. It's like it's definitely a trigger. And I think another one, it's rare, and I think unfortunately that's just from being in the gay community and how it operates sometimes. Um, Confidence or feeling attractive. Um, it's not something I necessarily go through as much anymore, but I do know that there was some years. I mean, you have these apps and shit, and you have a whole conversation with somebody. They ask for a picture, you send it, they block you, or like and it's like that we don't realize being, especially if we're on there often. Every conversation isn't a bad one. There's some really good ones, and there's some situations that come from those. But there are also people on there who treat you like just me. First message, where that dick at? You know what I'm saying? Hey, you gonna ride my dick or something? Like, it's like these things. People treat you like nothing. So when you do it consistently, you don't realize it's like chipping away at your confidence. And I had to reach a place of confidence in myself to where it didn't matter where the fucking where it went. It's like, well, I'm the shit, so whatever. um, those two are big ones. And honestly, okay, because another one came up, bullies. I don't like bully, rude, fucking ignorant people. I don't like it because I don't understand why. I mean, I get, again, like I said, things aren't always about us. People project what the fuck is going on within themselves. So it's like people like that have something the fuck going on. So there's a part of me that feels bad, but for the most part, calm the fuck down. Like, what is your problem? Why do you feel like it's okay to talk to another human being this way or to do these things to another fucking person? These are people. You're a person. Would you do it to yourself? Like, I don't know. Now I'm just thinking about triggers. I'll go to the next question. What are some negative traits that I don't like about myself? Should I fix them? Why am I not? Um, I can tend to overindulge, and whether that's food, sex, drugs, liquor, fucking whatever. Especially if I happen to be in a place of escapism, I've learned to not do it so much, but I am an expert at escapism. And when I'm in that space, I'm just gonna stuff my face. I'm like, I need to just eat. I'm so hungry. Um, I need to keep drinking. Like, we ain't got no more shots. I need to keep smoking. Roll up again. Like, I need more and more. And it's getting older. I'm more conscious of it, so it's not something I do as much, but that is there. I used to think it was addiction, but there's no one thing that I'm like, oh, I gotta have. I can function without any of them. But when I'm feeling something or I'm going through something, I need to be filled up with all this, whatever the fuck. Um, I think another negative trait is I, I've learned so much about myself through ADHD, and one of those basic things is that my brain is moving faster than I can keep up with sometimes. And because of that, the good part is I'm pretty fucking smart and I'm able to pick up on things quickly and just it's just fast, that speed. But I find myself getting annoyed or frustrated when someone else isn't mentally as quick, and have I had to check myself because it's sometimes I'm having a slow moment. I'm like I don't get it. It happens, but I have a bad habit and it reflects really bad, like either in my tone or my face, and I'm like, don't be a dick. You're not the fucking genius of the world. Stop. um, so I know that can make people feel a way too. So it's like I try my best not to do that as much anymore. Sometimes it's quick and I haven't even had a second to think, and I'm like, oh, my bad. But yeah, I'll say those. Um, and I would say I should fix them, but I'm actively working on fixing them. So I'll say yes. Um, but it's all a process, and there's certain parts of us that don't ever fully go away. So it's definitely something that'll probably still, in 10 years, I would have to be like, all right, Troy, get it together. Okay, so the next one is, how do I handle anger or frustration? And is this the easiest way to cope? I let myself feel it. And I'll go to myself. Like, I don't want to spread that energy to other people. So I'll go to myself. I'll go within. Um, and it can be a mixture of things. Music helps sometimes because I like to sing, and sometimes that's how I need to get it out. So if it's a good song that's gonna get me getting it out, we're going to that. That's honestly more than likely the solution, like the healthy one. Like my unhealthy one, like I said, is overindulgence. But the healthy way that I deal with it is I listen to music and I rap or sing it out. Um, Then I'm like, shit, I can do that for hours. So if it takes a little time to get it out, fuck it. Looks like I got these headphones on for the night. you know. Another one is writing. I I can't help. I literally can't help but write. Like the way that words come to me in my mind, I'm either writing a full poem or a full song or a couple lines, or has been times where maybe even 3 words because I thought of some kind of quick phrase that I go back to months or months later, and it's like, oh, and now I can make this full thing because I got these added emotions. You know what I'm saying? So I've always just written. So that's another one, and yeah, I'll say that. As far as the healthy ones, I mean, sometimes meditation too, but there's a point where I'm so heated that meditation doesn't work because it's like I think anger represents itself in me as an active thing. My body needs to move. I need to do something to get this out. So whereas sadness, I can sit and meditate because you want to just be down in a way. Anger is more active for me. Yeah, never thought about that. Okay. Um, this kind of relates to the previous one, but when I think about my future, I am most afraid of not achieving my dreams. That's it. I think because it's things that I've done my entire life that I love, I know I found my purpose. So I know how in times I've been my own worst enemy. I've gotten in my way. I don't believe that I would do that anymore, but I also know life is great. Like shit, life just happens. Like you look up years later and just like shit. Even this, I didn't know I would be doing this about 4 years ago. I'm going into the third season, or I'm in actively in the third season, the third year of doing it. So it's just like, you know, I remember a couple years ago, I had no books. I have five. Like life just happens in good and bad ways. So it's like I know at this point, I know and trust that I'll be successful through my creativity and my ambition. I know it. But occasionally, we're human and I get afraid. um, and I calm myself, like I said, but it's not always easy. So I have to talk to God. I gotta pray, like write it down and put it in the Bible. Like I have so many notes in the Bible on this thing because sometimes I'm just like, fuck. And it slightly comes from an arrogant place, but I think it also is mostly just me knowing myself. I'm not built for a normal life. I never have been. And the moments in my life that have been some of the toughest is when I was trying to be. When I was trying to be like everyone else, when I was trying to do what I felt like I should based on the world, society, versus just who I am. So, yeah. Ugh. What do I struggle with the most and how can I fix this? Mm, the most? Wow. Um, I don't want to say that's tough because I don't think I mean, I guess it will mostly be related to what I just said because there's not many things I've done a lot of work the past like several years, a lot to reach this place of clarity and self. So I try to get through things. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing I would struggle with is just that confidence. It's scary. I know like my life, honestly, if you know me, like know me outside of this, and I try to share as much as I can, but I can't give y'all everything, unfortunately. But my life is dark humor. It's always been, and I have the weirdest luck. People that have been around me are like, what the fuck? Like, how did both good and bad? Like the weirdest fucked up shit can happen to me, and the next, the most amazing thing can happen, and I'm just like sitting there in the middle, like, well, that's life. And you know, being in a place where you're not at on top, or it's not the roller coaster isn't up in the air right now, it's low. It gets hard to try to see the top of it. Very difficult because you're at the bottom and it almost feels like it's taking a while to rise up, but it is rising because that's just what happens in life. So like I always try to remind myself, but that's my biggest struggle because, and I think it's partially also an insecurity being at this age and being like, okay, I feel like, and I remind myself that it's a journey, but like sometimes like, damn, I should be here. I should be doing that. I should have achieved this already. But that's not the case. So I'm gonna keep reminding myself, but that's my biggest struggle. And I think fixing it is just forcing an opposite thought in my mind. I take the time to visualize it. I write it down. I put action to it because I'm like, no, 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 no. This ain't it's not my path. So yeah. Um, what are my toxic habits slash addictions and how can I make them healthy? Hmm. Okay. Toxic habits. I mean, I said that indulgence. I think indulgence is one. Uh, and real quick, like before I go deeper into it, I kind of really love doing this. It feels like a stream of consciousness. Like it feels like journal writing. um, so yeah, there will be more solo episodes coming soon. But don't feel they'll still be guests is the point. But my other toxic habits, I think one is that I can be very stubborn. It's partially a Taurus thing, but also in my chart I have a lot of earth signs, so I can be extremely stubborn. And it helps with ambition and stuff like that. But sometimes it's gotten me in places or spots that I couldn't do anything but look at myself like you fucking did this. You did this. um, I think another one is, and I don't do it often, but actually not allowing myself to feel the full weight of something. Like I mentioned, escapism. It's very easy for me to become detached. Um, so there are times where I guess really that overall is it, because it comes from a good place of, okay, I'm able to let go, but it's also the bad place of it, of like, some things need to be felt, some things need to be acknowledged, and I can detach so easy sometimes, um, that you would think I didn't give a fuck at all. And so I've had to really be mindful of that. Um, and I mean that's really how I can make get that part healthy. It's just being more mindful of the words I choose, my tone, how I speak to people, being mindful of what I'm attaching to, what I'm not attaching to, being mindful of how much I'm intaking and things like that. It's just about really being mindful. And I had to I have to kind of laugh for a second because, like, again, like I mentioned, indulgence and like liquor, drugs, sex, all that. It's crazy to think of some of the nights I've had with these experiences, and with me just going from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. just like, what's that like, to where I am now, where I practically don't drink at all. I give myself, maybe once a month or something to really take kind of, go there. But it's just crazy because it's so different now. And I think that's also getting older. But for me, part of it was an issue of, like I said, overindulgence. So, um, who do I want to become? I don't know how to make that simple. I think I am becoming him. It, it's funny because I recently had that thought of like some of the thoughts I used to have as a kid. And I think I'm becoming who I've always seen myself to be, but I don't know how to vocalize that person yet. Like I know I have, bits and pieces, I want to be helpful and renowned for my creativity. I want to, you know, be able to dip my foot in different interests. I want to be able to help my community and my family. And it's just a lot of different pieces that having these thoughts lets me know that I'm becoming. Like, and I think we're always becoming, but there's a very specific person that I'm becoming, like, that I see. And I don't know. I don't know. That's hard to like narrow down. Who am I? I am a lover, a fighter, a creative, family oriented, and I don't even know how to put that in. But I mean, I guess I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a grandson. I'm a million things. Actually, I think sometimes people, we limit ourselves to just specific roles, but I'm everything. That's I'm an author. I'm a poet. I'm a horror movie writer, or horror writer. A podcast host, a radio host, a magazine fucking CEO right now. I'm everything. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah. All right. The last question: who hurt me the most, and can I forgive them? Hmm. Okay. A friend of mine. Uh, and I could. go for my parents or myself, but I want to specifically acknowledge this because I'm still healing from it, from years of shit. Like, it's a very difficult process because, again, it's also a friend, and it's not like they fucking stabbed me or stole money from me, but it was just a lot of immersion. Oh, I've been listening to Glorilla way too much. Emotional, emotional, and spiritual and mental issues, basically. Um, and I don't know. It's been years of things, and they still, when I let myself think about them, hurt, you know. And I've forgiven him for a nice amount of them, so I can forgive him, but it's hard. Um, so right now we are not close because I can't. But yeah, I would say he hurt me the most, but I can forgive him. I can forgive him a little bit more with a little bit more time, or not. We'll see. Well, shit, this got deep. I appreciate you guys if you stuck through the whole thing, because I feel like the only reason why I haven't done the solo is like, shut the fuck up, no one cares. But I know that's not always true, and sometimes hearing other people's stories and struggles help people get through there. So I'll definitely do another solo episode. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for sticking in through this with me. It was a stream of consciousness and slightly difficult at times, but we made it through. I just want to remind y'all, definitely check out my new digital magazine because I'm a fucking magazine owner. um Upsurge magazine is available on the issue.com, which is ISSUU. The link is on all the socials everywhere, so you can check that out there. Don't forget to follow the official Instagram page for the pod, love_journal podcast. And until next time, love. Peace.
Myself busy, I ran around in circles, think I make